In this week's video, I'm going to talk about head covering. Now, a lot of you would ask, but why even cover your head? I mean, where is the source for that? So one of the sources is in the Torah, where the priests used to cover their head in the temple service so that they would show reverence to God and to his Torah and to the temple service. And that is why we, as Orthodox Jews, also cover our head. Another source is a story in the Talmud, where a mother is concerned that the son might go off the derech, off the well-trodden path. And she asked a rabbi, what should she do to ensure that her son stays observant? And the rabbi told her that she should give her son a kippa, a head covering, so that he should always know that there is something above him that watches over him and that writes down everything that he does and says, so that he should fear his God and live a good Orthodox lifestyle. Your kippa says a lot about the way that you believe in God or the way that you observe God's laws. So the first group we're going to talk about is the Haredim. The Haredim normally wear the black velvet kippah. The word Haredim means those who tremble at the name of Hashem. Now the Haredim's hashkafa is that they are highly observant. They observe every single law written within the Torah as well as the oral law. They do not accept modern interpretations. They normally wear either this black velvet kippah or they wear a big black hat over it. They live a very insular life. So they normally keep within their communities. They don't really mingle with the outside world, or they try their best not to. They normally do not own TVs. Some of them these days do have smartphones, but it is kashed. So the smartphone is sent to the Beit Din or to a rabbi, and the rabbi or the Beit Din will put some software on the phone that would not allow you to go onto certain websites or see certain things, as they are very big on guarding the eyes, so not looking at things they shouldn't look at. They're normally very observant. Their children is normally very observant. They've got a very high retention rate, meaning keeping the children in the religion and keeping them observant. They normally have a very low divorce figure. Haredim's view on the state of Israel is that they're happy to live in the land of Israel because there is a biblical commandment to live in the land of Israel, but they do have big issues with the state of Israel. One of their biggest issues is that the state of Israel, being a secular state, many people forget that Israel is 80% secular Jews and 20% observant Jews. So they believe it's a secular state created by secular Jews, the state itself, and the state wants them to join the army and they want to be in the yeshiva and study. The next group we're going to talk about is Chardal. Now the Chardal have also a very observant lifestyle. They also believe in the written Torah and the oral Torah. They are highly observant. Many of them do not own a TV. Some of them do own a TV. Most of them own smartphones, but some of them do kasher the smartphones and some of them do not. They believe that you should live within this world and that you should participate in society. So they normally have, normal jobs like a lawyer, accountant, doctor, normal Jewish jobs. But they do also have a big focus on Torah study, So they normally learn in a kollel, which is normally in a yeshiva or in a synagogue, where you learn about 2 to 4 hours a day. So they work the whole day, and then at night they would study 2 to 4 hours. Their view on the state of Israel, some of them is similar to the Haredim, so they lean more to the right. So they also don't want to join the army. And some of them lean to the left, where they would join the army, and they're quite favorable to the state of Israel, but they will only join the army in a deal that was brokered. They go normally to yeshiva for a year, then they go to the army for 2 years, and then they go another 2 years to a yeshiva. And this was a deal agreed upon by the state of Israel to accommodate the Chardal. The next movement we're going to talk about is the modern Orthodox. Now, the modern Orthodox normally have colorful knitted kippa. So the Chardal had like a black knitted kippa with no color. And the modern Orthodox have a colorful knitted kippa. Now, the modern Orthodox is also called the Dati Lumi. Dati meaning religious and Lumi meaning national. Now, the modern Orthodox is very much out there in the world. They mingle with the Goyim, they own TVs, they watch movies, they go to movies, they all have smartphones, definitely not kasher. They very much live in this world, but believe you should also study Torah and observe the mitzvot. They don't have a very high retention rate. So a lot of them, unfortunately, do go off the derech because they do mix a lot with the goyim, and a lot of them, unfortunately, do go off the derech in the army. That's just something that I have heard when I was in Israel. I was in Shoham, which is like the modern Orthodox stronghold. A stat that I just found, and speaking with a few families, it seems that they only retain 33% of their youth. The modern Orthodox view on the state of Israel, they love the state. I mean, they are Dati, Lumi, national religious. Many of the youth movements is Dati, Lumi, Bnei Akiva, Torah Metzion. There's a lot of youth movements. Clearly, they've also seen the challenge being modern Orthodox, mixing with the Goyim, where most of the youth do go off the derech, and this is obviously a way to get the youth more involved, get them more inspired, and B'ezrat Hashem, more observant. They've got no issue going to the army, they love the army, and they observe most of these Israeli or modern holidays as full chagim. Some of them don't actually believe in a literal Mashiach, and they believe in an age of Mashiach. They lean very much to the left. They are quite liberal, quite open. The next group is the shiny kippa. I don't think it shines as much on the video as in real life, but the shiny velvet kippahs that comes in all colors, pink, red, blue, anything but black, is normally a sign of an irreligious Jew or a completely secular Jew. I just thought I'll chuck it in there so that we've covered everyone. There's obviously people that wear no head covering, and they are mamash completely secular. At the end of this video, I do want to stress that all of these movements believe in the 13 principles of faith. They are fully halachic Orthodox Jews. I hope you found this video informative in navigating the head covering of the Orthodox Jewish world. I wish you all have a great week ahead. Shavua Tov. May everything that you do go well for you. May you continue to be blessed in everything that you do. Shavua Tov.
Hashem Melech, Hashem